Good morning everybody. This may feel like deja vu. If you've watched my first video from Chatham, you'll be thinking, hold on a minute, am I watching the same video again? No, you're not. I just can't be bothered to get out the car because it's 8 degrees, it's drizzly. If you've watched the other video, if the other video is out, and at this point, who knows, I did a walk around of the historic sites, and I said at the start of that video, the whole idea of this one was very much it's made for me. I haven't been to Chatham for, I reckon, 30 years. So I keep looking around because everything, even sat here, is new. I haven't been to Chatham for about 30 years. I come down here to see my family every now and again, but I rarely come into Chatham. And this was the place I grew up. This was the place I spent my teenage years, my formative years, my drunk years. So I wanted to come, and I'm just going to take a walk down the high street, and I'm just going to try and remember all the shops and where they were and what they were and what has changed. I can't imagine anything is still there. One of them is Woolworths. We know that ain't going to be there. So I'm just going to take a walk down memory lane. I appreciate it might be boring as hell to most of you, but it'll be fascinating to me. So come along with me if you want to. So possibly for my other video, we've got the Pentagon Centre. This was all a car park when I was growing up, all of these houses. And that's where I was walking just a moment ago. So this building here is the car park at the top of what I know as Tesco. And I do not believe Tesco is there anymore. Sorry if I just deafened you, I just looked down to make sure my microphone was still there. You don't need to know that. So I think I'm heading down to the Odeon, which isn't there, and I'm going to start waxing lyrical about Star Wars in a moment, which gives you an idea of when I lived here. And I worked in Tesco, and I worked there until I went to university. So this building here was once an Odeon. I came here first to see Bambi, which I think would have been about 77, and then my second time at the cinema, I came with my mum, and it was a double showing, and it was Star Wars, which I had not seen in 1980, followed up by The Empire Strikes Back. One of the best days of my life, and it's really funny, we queued up this hill, there were hundreds of us, and we queued up this hill, and when we got in, my mum said to me, "Where do you want to sit?" And I said, front row's got to be best. And she said, "I really don't think so, I think you want to sit further back, I really don't think you want to sit in the front row." And I demanded that we sat in the front row, and my mum, God bless her, capitulated. Little did we know, the opening scene of Star Wars is the loudest, most terrifying scene of any film ever. Now, of course, it's the most exciting scene of any film ever. But at the time, I didn't know what was coming, and this pigging huge Star Destroyer came across the screen at a volume that would make your ears bleed. And look at this, it's flats now, but there's the entrance. And I'm not sure it was that shop, but we used to go in, what's now says Modern News, and we used to buy our sweets in there and smuggle them in because we thought that the sweets in here were too expensive. And that was the entrance. And obviously it isn't now. In fact, this isn't even here now. This is terrifying. I thought I was going to see my old building and it was a different shop. I don't think I'm going to be able to see this properly. So this was my Tesco. I shall put a picture up of what it used to look like. It was the best of times. And then Chatham High Street going off that way, and we'll walk down the high street. But yeah, there's the car park. And all of this was Tesco. So that shop used to be Fine Fare, and I remember it being the very first supermarket. So we used to get the bus down to Chatham, and we used to walk down here, and this was Fine Fair, which obviously doesn't exist these days and didn't exist for a long time when I lived here. Google seems to make a big deal out of this clock tower. Clock tower is mentioned on Google. I don't remember it ever being there. I don't think it's historic. It's not 5:25. They need to just knock that down. And this big red building was Alder's, which is a big department store. I think it shut down quite a while ago and became Debenhams, which also shut down a while ago. But hopefully I've just found my favourite place in the entire world. That may not look that special to you, but that was McDonald's. And I can remember when we got McDonald's, and it wasn't green, and it was exciting, and it had a tree upstairs, and you went and sat underneath the tree and you had parties. I haven't been in McDonald's about as long as I haven't been in Chatham. Now I'm trying to remember, I think this was Woolworths. It's obviously now Primark. Now I knew Woolworths would have been gone, but I didn't know what it was. Was that all Woolworths, or was it just this bit? I really can't remember. I honestly thought Woolworths was a bit further down. We're getting on for 10 o'clock and Greggs isn't even open. What kind of town is this? That's madness. And then the last great bastion was Marks and Spencer's. And I'm hopefully putting up pictures. This is obviously TK Maxx now. So the main building is still there. But Marks and Spencer's is long gone. I don't know where the nearest Marks and Spencer's is now. Maidstone, Bluewater. And then into good old days, this was a main road. And you go this way for the train station. And the Prince of Wales used to be another haunt of ours. And then we're back at the Pentagon. As I say, this used to be a main road out of Chatham, and it's all now pedestrianised. So that's me back at the car. Again, if you've watched the other video, this will feel like deja vu, but it is raining. I never really used to spend any time on the high street. It was a shopping high street. It wasn't a place you went for, food, drink, that kind of thing. It never was. So it hasn't changed, but the shops have changed. And it's very much a reflection of England today. So there's a lot of pound shops and vape shops and phone shops and repair shops and that kind of thing. We've lost, and I know everybody has, but we've lost some of the older brand supermarkets and that kind of thing, the slightly smaller shops. We've lost Marks and Spencer's, which is a massive loss. We've lost Woolworths, and I know everybody has. That's not a Chatham thing. I said about Greggs not being open. I did go in the Pentagon. I didn't video anything in the Pentagon. I just went in to have a look. There is a Greggs in the Pentagon Centre, and that was open, and it was packed because Greggs is great. And there was a Subway next door, and Sainsbury's was still there. But I looked upstairs. Anybody who knows the Pentagon, there is an upstairs. There is an upper floor, a first floor. There was nothing up there. Absolutely nothing up there. It's terrible. It's so sad. We used to have a massive co-op which sold furniture and was a real almost like a department store. It wasn't a food shop per se. That's gone. I think that was a Poundland. Boots was still in there. If you know the Pentagon, you'll know how much that has changed. If you don't know the Pentagon, none of this means anything. You probably switched off ages ago. But it wasn't as depressing as I thought it would be. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It's very much gone in the way of all high streets in this country, which is incredibly sad, and it isn't moving with the times. I don't know what I'm doing for my next video. I've got no idea. So again, thank you for watching. I always appreciate it. I can't tell you. I started this channel just as a thing for me to do, and I'm getting views, and it fascinates me why anybody would be interested in what I'm doing. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. But again, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you soon.